Welcome back to the channel, my fellow Port Charles obsessives. Today is a truly beautiful day to dive into the magnificent, chaotic, and emotionally devastating canvas of our favorite daytime drama. Grab your coffee and settle in because we have an incredible week ahead, and I am bursting with thoughts about the absolute genius unfolding on our screens right now. I have to start with a moment that made me literally scream at my television screen in pure joy. I feel so incredibly energized by that scene at the Quartermain Boathouse because to me, it finally proved that the writers understand exactly who these characters are. When Michael orchestrated that cheating trap, having Willow and Chase run into each other in their bathing suits and Tracy caught them, my jaw dropped. But what I loved even more was Brooke Lynn's reaction. I think the choice to have Brooke Lynn discover Willow's moves on Chase, not through tears, but through sheer calculated rage, is the best they have written her in years. The way I see it, Brooke Lynn Quartermain has always been a Bensonhurst scrapper at heart. I know a lot of people are saying this storyline is dragging, that the love triangle is played out, but I actually think the slow burn is exactly what is needed because I feel like we are finally seeing Brooke Lynn's protective instincts fully weaponized. When she issued that fierce threat to Willow, promising to ruin her political career if she did not back off, I felt a rush of adrenaline. She did not just whine to her father, she tapped into her roots. I genuinely think we are missing the point if we just view this as a standard catfight. This is a woman defending her territory, her husband, and her future family. And the brilliance does not stop there. I believe the writer's choice to have Brooke Lynn recruit an unexpected ally in Nina Reeves is nothing short of a masterstroke. I love the way the tension hung in the air during their conversation. Brooke Lynn knows that Nina is already concerned about Willow's dynamic with Chase. I feel like this alliance is so delicious because it forces two women who historically have very little in common to unite over a shared goal, stopping Willow from detonating her own life. In my opinion, seeing Brooke Lynn leverage Nina's maternal panic is top-tier soap opera strategy. Let us talk about Nina for a second. I think this is the most grounded Nina has been in months. The way I interpret it, Nina knows her daughter is totally out of control right now. When Nina tried to talk sense into Willow, warning her that spending time with a married man is a terrible idea, you could see the sheer exhaustion in Nina's eyes. I feel so validated by Nina's perspective here because she is finally seeing Willow without the rose-colored glasses. Willow is spiraling, and Nina recognizing that spiral makes me feel like the narrative is finally holding Willow accountable for her reckless choices. I feel compelled to break down exactly what I think is going on in Willow Kane's head, even if it requires reading between the lines of the script. When Willow broke down in tears, admitting to Chase she does not want to be married to Drew anymore, while confessing she is guilty of so much, it gave me chills. I think Willow is suffocating under the weight of her own secrets. Specifically, the fact that she shot Drew and is keeping him in a locked-in state. Offering Chase a chief of staff job in Washington, D.C. is not just a career move. I believe it is a desperate, delusional attempt to build a fantasy escape hatch. She wants Chase to save her, but she is dragging him into her nightmare. I know the fandom is complaining about Michael's manipulations, calling him a villain, but I actually love this dark turn. I feel like Michael orchestrating this cheating trap, arranging for them to meet at the boathouse, is brilliant because it exposes the cracks that were already there. If Chase and Willow were truly just platonic friends, Michael's trap would not work. I think Michael is absolutely right here. And his dialogue backing up his belief that Willow will surrender to temptation proves he knows her better than anyone. I love the dark, calculating lighting they use in Michael's scenes lately. It really emphasizes his transition into a true Corinthos tactician, shifting gears to a completely different corner of Port Charles. I need to talk about Ethan Lovett and Alexis Davis. I feel so incredibly moved by the scene in Alexis's office where Ethan asks her to keep the record sealed regarding baby Phoebe. I know some viewers think Ethan is just being his usual sketchy self, but I genuinely think we are missing the point if we do not see the profound sacrifice he is making. Ethan wants Brooke Lynn and Chase to raise his daughter because he knows they can provide a stable, loving home. I believe his plea to Alexis was one of the most heartbreaking, selfless moments we have seen from him. But of course, Alexis Davis is the voice of reason, and I think the writers nailed her response. I love the way the camera lingered on Alexis's face when she gave Ethan that maternal yet strictly legal warning. She told him that just because a record is sealed does not mean his secret is safe, because judges unseal records all the time. The way I see it, Alexis is foreshadowing the inevitable. I feel like this is the best they have written Alexis in this advisory capacity, because she is balancing her empathy for Ethan with the cold, hard reality of Port Charles. Secrets always come out. Ethan is going to have to be very careful, especially if Phoebe starts to look like him as she ages. Now let us dive into the absolute mess that is Curtis Ashford, Portia Robinson, and Isaiah Gannon. I know a lot of people are frustrated with Curtis right now, saying his storyline is making him unlikable. But I actually think this stubborn, flawed version of Curtis is exactly what makes the show so compelling. Curtis is facing felony charges, hoping to get a plea deal, but he refuses to show any real remorse for doing so much damage to Isaiah's operating hand. I feel like Curtis's refusal to back down is so true to his character. He felt threatened, he acted, and now he is digging his heels in. I think the writer's choice to have Portia's baby shower erupt into chaos over this exact issue was a stroke of genius. When Jordan Ashford attended and the two women clashed over their feuding boyfriends, it made me feel a profound sense of tension. If Curtis had not done so much damage to Isaiah, things might be different, and having some remorse might help Curtis out in front of a judge. But so far, Curtis is not showing too much of that. In my opinion, this is brilliant conflict. It forces Portia to choose between her husband's stubborn pride and the reality of Isaiah's ruined career. I love watching Curtis squirm as Ada Justine Turner moves forward with the prosecution. Moving on to the younger generation, I feel so deeply invested in Giovanni Palmieri opening up to Emma Scorpio Drake. I think having Gio confide in Emma is a beautiful nod to the legacy of their families. The way I interpret it, Gio is carrying an immense amount of guilt over Rocco Falconeri and Britt Westbourne going on the run. When Gio broke his vow of silence and turned to Dante, and then Rocco lashed out, Gio felt responsible. I believe Emma is the perfect person to comfort him because she understands the heavy burden of legacy in Port Charles. Their scenes together have this quiet, earnest lighting that just makes my heart melt. Speaking of Britt, I am absolutely terrified and thrilled by the obstacles Liesl Obrecht is currently facing because of Britt's chaos. I love the sheer horror of the scene where Ross Cullum ambushed Liesl, chloroformed her, and threw her into the Windermere sub-basement cell with Jocelyn Jacks. I feel like this is the ultimate collision of storylines. Liesl is being forced to complete Cesar Faison's cold fusion prototype to replace Britt. I think Kathleen Gotti's performance as she wakes up in that cell is going to be award-worthy. The way I see it, Liesl's fierce love for her daughter is her greatest strength and her biggest vulnerability. And we cannot talk about this without addressing the menacing presence of Ross Cullum. I genuinely think Cullum is one of the most effective villains we have had in years. He is determined to find Rocco and Britt, and the fact that he is not giving up makes him even more dangerous. I feel so anxious every time Cullum is on screen, especially knowing he wrongly suspects Danny of being the one who shot him. I believe the stakes have never been higher. The writers have perfectly woven this manhunt into the fabric of the show, making every single episode feel like a ticking time bomb. Finally, I have to scream about the absolute cinematic perfection of the Corinthos coffee warehouse scenes. Sonny Corinthos taking Pascal Levesque hostage alongside Laura Collins and Lucas Jones is everything I ever wanted. I love the way the lighting changed when Sonny offered Pascal a chance to save his own life by turning on Jen Sidwell. It was dark, gritty, and felt like classic daytime television at its absolute peak. I feel like bringing Lucas into this plan was the smartest narrative choice possible. Lucas has been mourning Marco Rios in silence, and now he has a target. In my opinion, Lucas is the variable Sidwell never calculated for. When Lucas taunted Pascal, using his grief to break the butler who helped cover up Marco's murder, I felt a profound sense of justice. What will Pascal decide about his fate? Will the man switch sides, or will he die loyal to Jen Sidwell? I think Pascal is a coward at heart, and Sonny's pressure is going to crack him wide open. The way I interpreted this storyline is giving Lucas the agency he has deserved for months, and I am here for every single second of it. This show is firing on all cylinders, and I cannot wait to see what happens next.